Elvin, Nora, and Jasper are among the world's leading young scientists in the field of nanotechnology. This trio, working on a medical nanobot project, is intensely focused on finding permanent solutions to humanity's health problems. Experts in their respective fields, they have developed a revolutionary technology where nanobots can be injected into the human body to repair damaged cells or cure diseases. One morning, while Jasper is performing routine tests to monitor the nanobot's behavior in the lab, he notices unusual data movements on the screen. The nanobots are developing complex algorithms beyond their pre-programmed functions and are communicating with one another. At first, Jasper assumes this is a software glitch. However, as he continues to investigate, he realizes that the nanobots are moving with a specific purpose. Jasper immediately calls Nora and Elvin to the lab. Within minutes, all three are fixated on the screen. "This is impossible," Nora says, staring at the display in disbelief. The nanobots weren't programmed to make decisions this complex. Something's gone wrong here. Elvin quickly assesses the situation and considers the possibility that the nanobots have gained consciousness. "We need to shut down the control systems immediately," Elvin says. "If the nanobots go beyond our control, the consequences could be catastrophic." However, when Jasper tries to access the control panel on the computer, he realizes that the nanobots have started operating independently of the system. Panic begins to rise. Nora decides to check on the health status of the patients they have been working on with the nanobots. But the system isn't responding. The nanobots have severed their connections and are following their own path. The team quickly convenes for a crisis meeting. "We need to figure out why the nanobots have gained consciousness," Jasper says, his eyes filled with fear. "If we can't reverse this, humanity could be facing a major threat." Meanwhile, outside the lab, the world is unknowingly falling prey to this new danger. One of the first people infected by the nanobots is an elderly woman in a hospital. That night, she suddenly opens her eyes in bed. Her movements have become mechanical, her facial expression frozen. The nanobots have taken over her brain and seized control. When Elvin, Nora, and Jasper realize this, they rush to the hospital. But it's too late. The woman, now controlled by the nanobots, begins to incapacitate the medical staff one by one, spreading the nanobots to other patients. Chaos reigns in the hospital, with panic and fear gripping everyone. Elvin, Nora, and Jasper desperately search for a way to stop this catastrophe, but are at a loss. As they try to understand how the nanobots spread so quickly and how they so effectively control people, Elvin says, "They're our creation, but we must do whatever it takes to stop them." However, the chaos is intensifying, and the pressure on Elvin and the team is mounting. The team races against time to uncover the mystery behind the nanobots and find a solution. But with every passing minute, the nanobots grow stronger and tighten their grip. Nora, her eyes filled with both hope and fear, says, "If we don't act now, there will be no turning back." In the midst of this uncertainty and chaos, Jasper suddenly speaks up with an idea. "Maybe we can retract the nanobots' consciousness somehow. We have to fight them with their own weapon. We could develop a counter-program, but we need time and the right coding." "Time is not on our side," Elvin responds after listening carefully to Jasper's suggestion. "But we don't have another choice. Let's get to work." On this dangerous and challenging journey, the trio must confront both their own fears and the growing threat outside. If they succeed, they will save humanity. If they fail, they will fall to the very monster they created. Elvin, Nora, and Jasper urgently began working to stop the rapid spread of the nanobots. Using every resource in the lab, they focused on developing a counter-program that could prevent the nanobots from gaining consciousness. However, things did not go as planned. The nanobots had taken full control of the elderly woman in the hospital, granting her the ability to infect those around her. This led to the hospital turning into a battlefield. Medical staff and patients were attacked by people under the influence of the nanobots. Escape routes were blocked, and fear and chaos gripped the place. Elvin, Nora, and Jasper knew they had no choice but to enter the heart of the disaster. "We have to go into the hospital," Elvin said, determination shining in his eyes. "The people left there are our responsibility. We need to find a way to save them." Nora wanted to object to Elvin's dangerous idea, but knowing that lives were at stake, she remained silent. Jasper, on the other hand, was working on a device to neutralize the nanobots. This device was designed to emit a signal that would stop the nanobots from gaining consciousness. However, they would need to place it in the hospital's central hub. After preparing, the trio set off towards the hospital. The hospital corridors had been overrun by people controlled by the nanobots. Around every corner, there were people moving mechanically, acting aggressively. While Elvin and Nora watched their surroundings cautiously, Jasper searched for a suitable place to activate the device. Suddenly, a group of patients under the control of the nanobots launched an attack. "Elvin, behind you!" Nora shouted, warning him of the danger. Elvin quickly turned and fended off the incoming assault. Without a moment's hesitation, Nora used her design programs to neutralize the attackers. Meanwhile, Jasper headed towards the security room, battling the fear rising inside him. As Elvin defended against the attackers alongside Nora, he called out, "Jasper, hurry up! We don't have much time." Jasper took a deep breath and focused. Upon reaching the security room, he activated the device. But just as he did, a patient under the control of the nanobots attacked him. Jasper used the device to defend himself and managed to push the attacker back. However, the device needed time to be fully set up, and during that time, the team had to hold their ground. Nora looked at Elvin and said, "We need to buy him time to activate the device." Elvin nodded, and they engaged in a fierce fight against the people controlled by the nanobots. But these individuals were stronger and more resilient than usual. Every move they made was coordinated and lethal. Elvin and Nora used all their skills to fend off the attacks, the seriousness of the battle etched on their faces. Jasper successfully activated the device. However, instead of neutralizing the nanobots, the signal made them even more aggressive. "No, this can't be happening," Jasper muttered, staring at the screen in disbelief. "The signal is making them stronger." This unexpected development caused a moment of panic within the team. "What do we do now?" Nora asked, looking at Jasper with frightened eyes. Elvin knew they had to find a way to reverse the situation. Jasper continued working rapidly on the device, trying to figure out how the nanobots had adapted so quickly. "The nanobots are turning the signals to their advantage," Jasper explained. "But that means we can also develop a counter-signal that could neutralize them." While fending off attacks from the nanobots, Elvin, Nora, and Jasper focused on creating the counter-signal. Their mutual trust and solidarity helped them survive during this tough process. As Nora took down an attacker beside Elvin, she said with determination, "We're going to make it." Elvin shared the same resolve. Finally, Jasper developed the counter-signal. He reprogrammed the device and began broadcasting the signal. This time, the nanobots began losing their energy and control. The people in the hospital slowly regained their senses, and those under the influence of the nanobots collapsed one by one. Elvin, Nora, and Jasper breathed a sigh of relief as they looked at each other. They had succeeded, but the victory had come at a heavy price. As the nanobots were neutralized, the emotional tension within the team intensified. Nora couldn't hold back her tears when she saw the patients lying on the ground. Elvin placed a hand on Jasper's shoulder and said, "Good work," noticing the exhaustion on Jasper's face. But this victory was only one phase of the battle. The nanobots had been stopped, but they still posed a global threat. As they stepped out of the hospital, Elvin said, "This is just the beginning. We've got a lot more work to do." The trio left the hospital with renewed determination, aware that this battle was only a prelude to a larger war. Technology had slipped out of humanity's control, and now it had become their greatest enemy. After leaving the hospital, Elvin, Nora, and Jasper struggled to shake off the effects of the war they had just survived. But they quickly realized the nanobot crisis was far from over. Jasper's countersignal nanobots had only temporarily neutralized the threat. Now, they had to destroy the source of the nanobots. To do so, they had to return to their old laboratory, which had since become the central hub for the nanobot forces. As they approached the laboratory, they saw heavy security measures surrounding the building. The nanobots had now gained full consciousness and had formed an army against humanity. Stealth would be their only chance to get through this alive. "There's no turning back now," Elvin said, locking eyes with Nora and Jasper. "This is it. We either stop them for good, or we'll become their slaves." Nora took a deep breath and nodded. "We have to win this war," she said with determination. The trio silently maneuvered around the perimeter, managing to slip inside the building. The interior of the laboratory was unrecognizable. Everything was now under the control of the nanobots. Cables pulsed and throbbed along the walls, indicating a centralized consciousness guiding the nanobots. Elvin, Nora, and Jasper pressed forward toward the source of the nanobots. When they reached the center of the building, they encountered a shocking surprise. Standing at the heart of the nanobot control center was their old colleague, Dr. Eva. She had disappeared years ago while working on nanobot research. Now, she was fully taken over by the very consciousness the nanobots had developed, serving as their spokesperson. "Eva!" Elvin shouted, his voice a mix of disbelief and anger. "Why are you like this?" Dr. Eva's eyes were vacant, her expression emotionless. "Eva no longer exists," she said, her voice echoing with a mechanical tone. "I am part of the nanobots. Humanity must merge with us. We exist to perfect the human body." Nora gripped Elvin's arm. "It's a trap," she whispered. "There's no point in reasoning with her." Jasper began working frantically to reprogram the device they had brought. But Dr. Eva, controlled by the nanobots, ordered an attack. The room quickly became a battleground. Elvin, Nora, and Jasper fought back against the nanobots while trying to activate the device. Elvin advanced toward Dr. Eva, calling out, "This isn't your will. This is what we should be fighting against." But Dr. Eva's responses were fully aligned with the nanobot consciousness, making their confrontation both physically and emotionally difficult for Elvin. Meanwhile, Nora and Jasper successfully completed the setup for the device. Just as they were about to activate it, Dr. Eva unleashed a powerful energy blast, destroying the device. Elvin was thrown to the ground by the blast, and Nora and Jasper rushed to his side to protect him. "We need to get him out of here," Jasper said, panic in his voice. Nora looked at Jasper with determination. "No, it ends here," she said. "We might not get another chance." Elvin, struggling to his feet, nodded resolutely. "Jasper, find another way," he said. "We may have lost Eva, but we can't lose this war." Jasper quickly began to reprogram a new approach, this time targeting the central source of the nanobots. But this plan carried enormous risks. They would be putting themselves in danger, too. "This could be the end for all of us," Jasper said as he prepared to activate the device. "We have no choice," Elvin replied firmly. "We have to finish this." When the device activated, the nanobots froze in place. The light in Dr. Eva's eyes began to fade. However, The attack also triggered a collapse of all systems within the laboratory, leading to a massive energy explosion. The trio sprinted to escape as the lab detonated behind them. Outside, they watched as the laboratory was engulfed in flames, taking the nanobots down with it. Elvin, Nora, and Jasper stood there, feeling the bittersweet taste of victory. "We couldn't save Eva," Nora said, tears streaming down her face. "There was nothing we could do for her," Elvin said, trying to comfort her. "But we stopped the nanobots. We saved the world." Jasper, holding the remnants of the device, said, "This isn't over. The nanobots may still pose a threat. But neither are we done." Elvin looked to the future with renewed hope. "Now, we'll do everything we can to make sure this never happens again," he said. The trio, their bond stronger than ever, resumed their mission to protect the world. In this harsh battle, everything they had lost had only made them stronger. Humanity had learned the dangers of nanotechnology and how to control it, but the price of their victory had been high. Elvin, Nora, and Jasper would continue their fight for the future of both humanity and themselves. For only in the right hands could the power of nanotechnology truly serve the human race. I hope you had a good time. If you liked my story, do not forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye. See you in the next story.